This review has been made possible by Toyota of Naperville. As you know, Toyota has tons of brand new Toyotas available for purchase, but did you know that they also have a remarkable selection of used cars? Head on over to toyotaofnaperville.com and look through hundreds of used cars for sale right now.
Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2020 Hyundai Kona SEL. Up front is a 2.0 liter inline 4 and down below is a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this here Hyundai Kona because these have been out for quite some time. They actually debuted back in 2017, but I've never driven one before. And recently I've made it a habit to follow them in traffic. I don't know what it is. I've just been seeing a lot of these recently, so I figured now is a good time to finally review one. But before we get on to anything else, I have a website, zackpradel.com, where you can check out stickers like this retro sticker pack I have available, or a big friggin' bottle sticker, both with free shipping worldwide. You could also submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me through a quick and easy submission form, no matter where you are in the country or in the world. And you can read my behind the scenes blog to see what I'm filming before it comes out on the channel. But let's get back to that 2-liter under the hood. Well, it makes about 147 horsepower, which isn't anything crazy. It's shared with a couple of other Hyundai and Kia vehicles. However, the Kona could also be had later on with a 1.6-liter turbo, which is a nice power bump, but this is just the standard 2-liter. And honestly, I'm not impressed by it, but I'm also not turned away by it. Very simple little 4-cylinder that does its job. It gets a combined average of 28 miles to the gallon for this all-wheel drive version, 30 miles to the gallon if you get the front-wheel drive version. Like I said, paired to its 6-speed automatic transmission, very standard normal transmission. However, you could also get that 1.6-liter turbo with a 7-speed dual clutch transmission, which will shift a lot faster and is a lot more modern, a lot more beefy of a transmission. But again, this is the standard 6-speed, and I don't really have any complaints about it. Last but not least, as I touched on earlier, this is the all-wheel drive version. However, you can find these in front-wheel drive if that's what you prefer. And we do have some interesting features with the all-wheel drive system that we'll talk about with the interior. But before we get onto the interior, let's talk about the trim levels of the Hyundai Kona. Well, this is an SEL, which is one step up from the base model. The base model started at around $21,000, and that is the SE. Then there's the SEL, which is this car. Then the SEL Plus. Then it goes the Limited, and then the top trim is the Ultimate. So this isn't the base of the base of the base, but it is pretty dang close. With that out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 2 physical gauges and a screen. On the left is my tachometer and coolant temperature, and on the right is my speedometer and fuel. And then, like I said, I get that little information screen in the center where I could scroll through a couple of different things. Hyundai/Kia is very good at giving you a lot of information in this little screen. I wish that it had a couple more colors. It's just black and white at the moment, but that's okay. It's just when you add more colors, it makes a screen feel a lot nicer than just black and white, but I'm not complaining. On the steering wheel, on the left, I have my voice commands mode, volume, skip track, and phone options. And on the right, I have my little pages and selectors for that center screen, as well as my cruise control settings. The overall look and feel of the steering wheel is pretty nice. However, it feels a little basic, but that's okay. This is a $22,000 car. Off to the left, I have a climate control vent and my gauge dimmer switch, blind spot monitoring, and lane keep assist buttons, as well as traction control, something we might need on this rainy day. Moving on to the door, I have my power mirror adjustments, which look like an Xbox controller, power locks, window locks, and my power window switches, of which the front 2 are auto. Moving into the center, we do have the Hyundai infotainment system, so let's pull over and talk about it. All right, so let's talk Hyundai infotainment here in the Kona. I can go to menu. I do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but as we scroll over here, we don't really get too many interesting or cool apps in the infotainment system. That's pretty much it. We can look at the radio station. It is optimized for satellite radio, but really very, very basic infotainment system. Let's toss it into reverse. Take a look at the backup camera. Of course, it is wet. That's what you're seeing on the sides there, but as you turn the steering wheel, it actually does change the lines on the screen, which is very, very nice. Not all cars do this, surprisingly, and I think it's a very helpful feature for when backing up and turning. But that's pretty much it for the Kona infotainment. On either sides of that screen, we do get radio, media, seek, track, and volume. And on the right, I get my home, phone, favorite, setup, and my tune/enter/file button. Down below all of that, we get our climate control vents and our hazard switch, and then the climate controls. Unfortunately, I don't have dual zone climate, something I would have liked to have seen in the Kona. However, not the end of the world, and the climate controls are very basic besides that. Temperature off to the left, fan speed in the middle, where to send it on the right. Then I get a nice little shelf and some charging options. So on the left is a USB charger. In the center is my aux and USB in for that center display we just talked about, and on the right I have a standard 12-volt outlet / cigarette lighter, whatever you want to call it. I get a nice little tray below that, and then we come to the shifter. We do have some interesting buttons surrounding the shifter, but let's talk about the shifter itself. Looks and feels great. It's pretty much the same as any Kia or Hyundai product you'll find. However, they did do a gloss black shift knob up at the top, which is very nice. But off to the left, we do have drive mode select. So we have two different drive modes here in the Hyundai Kona. Only normal and sport. This does not get smart mode like other Hyundais, nor does it get eco mode like other Hyundais. Just normal and sport, and that is it. Off to the right, I can actually lock it in four-wheel drive. This is for doing some either severe off-roading, or if you're stuck in the snow or something like that, you might want to utilize this button. Very nice feature because this is all-wheel drive. Not all all-wheel drive cars have this option. My 2019 Mazda 3 is all-wheel drive, and yet it does not have any selectors. It chooses on its own, and it doesn't let me partake in that decision, but the Hyundai Kona does, which is very, very nice. I also get heated seats and hill descent control. Again, another nice off-road feature for the Hyundai Kona. Then I do get cup holders down below all of that, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the Hyundai Kona, and as I suspected, it does not pass. But unfortunately, the Kona is going under the fail list. Off to the left of that, I do have a physical parking brake, something really nice to see in modern cars. I like a nice physical parking brake. Most cars now are just a button. However, because this car does not have automatic brake hold, which is a feature I would like, it still has the physical parking brake. So unfortunately, you can't have the best of both worlds. Then I do get a little center console, nothing in it. And then we got to talk about the seats. The seats are cloth. They are very basic. However, they do have this slightly interesting pattern in the center of them. Definitely remind me of sort of like 80s, 90s cars a little bit. But they're not bad. They are heated. However, they are manual. Kind of an interesting combo that I'm starting to see more and more from Hyundai and Kia. But speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2020 Hyundai Kona SEL, and the back seats are not fantastic. I would say pretty mid-range in terms of compact SUVs in this segment. For instance, my knees aren't being jammed up against my seat, and this is my driving position. However, it's not very spacious. And with the sort of sloping roofline of the SUV sort of style and such, it could get a tiny bit claustrophobic. I do get these tiny little windows behind the door, which help out, but it is definitely a little claustrophobic for sure. I have power windows and speakers in the doors, as well as, we can pull this down, I get two cup holders here in the center console, but that's pretty much it. Nothing really to write home about. Let's go take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the Hyundai Kona. Pull it up there. It does not have a power tailgate, just regular gas struts. I do get a nice privacy cover, and then once we are back here, we can open this up, have some nice storage trays down there. Really love that. I'm not seeing a 12-volt outlet. That's something I would have liked to have had in an SUV, but not the end of the world. Decent trunk space. You have to remember that this is still a compact SUV. It's not a full-size SUV, so while it doesn't have all the trunk space in the world, I'd definitely say that this is very adequate for the size of the vehicle. Now we got to talk about the looks, and this is sort of a controversial part of the Kona. I think it looks very, very different. I think it looks very unique, and while this is white, and most Konas I see are in white, there is this crazy green color that they also offer it in if that's something you want to seek out, and this actually came in 8 different colors. I don't know why, I just tend to see the white the most. It might be controversial, however, it's interesting to look at, and that's all I can ask for from a car in this segment. I don't think this needs to be a showstopper. I don't think I would ever roll up to a red carpet event in one of these. However, I think it's presentable, and I wouldn't be angry if I owned one. But now let's get on to my final thoughts here on the 2020 Hyundai Kona SEL. Well, the very first thing that I noticed getting into the Kona is the driving position and the ergonomics of this car. And what I mean by that is that everything seems properly proportioned. It's easy to get into. Everything I need is within arm's reach. I'm very comfortable. I'm sitting upright. It actually feels like this car was designed for humans. A crazy concept, I know, but there are some cars that I have a hard time believing were actually designed for the proportions of a normal human being. This car was, and I think that's going to be its great selling point. The materials in here do feel a little cheap, if I'm being honest. The dashboard is all this hard plastic. It seems to have been sun faded a little bit, which in only 2 years and 26,000 miles isn't exactly what I would want to see. The 2.0 liter non-turbo is pretty gutless. You put your foot into it and things happen, but not in a grandiose way. This is really cheap transportation. And like I said, I really enjoy the seating position. I enjoy the front visibility. Rear visibility isn't fantastic. However, with any car you buy today, it's not usually great. And just getting in and out, that is the biggest selling point of this car, is that I don't have to bend my back and slide into this low slung car. This is actually at normal hip height, and getting in and out is an easy breeze. So that's it. That's how I feel about this car, is that it's just basic, easy transportation. I think for someone that needs a car, let's say a high school student or someone who's older, you might have a bad back. You might have a couple of sport injuries that make getting into a little sedan harder. Well, here you go. This is a fantastic option if one or both of those scenarios are true. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Toyota of Naperville for letting me take out their Hyundai Kona. They have been absolutely awesome. We've been working together for about 3 years. I've reviewed hundreds of cars from them. They are fantastic. This Hyundai Kona is for sale right now. You can go check it out at toyotaofnaperville.com. Their information is up on the screen as well as in the description below. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.